David, exciting match this afternoon here against Caledonian Braves. In reflection, how do you look at today's match?
I probably don't look at it as an exciting match, to be honest with you. Heather could probably come off the back end of it a little bit frustrated. I thought we started pretty well. I thought we played at the speed and tempo we'd expect us to look like. Didn't really make a lot of opportunities and chances at the early part of the game. I think probably the key defining moment for us is we started to slow the game down. We started taking too long on the ball, which encouraged pressure, and off the back of that pressure puts us in a situation where we've got to defend our box more frequently than what we would like to have. So I think that's a defining moment, how we played, how the game was. We had made one or two changes in the team, which I don't think impacted on how the performance was. I think ultimately at the start of the game we looked like we wanted to look, but as a half developed we just started making too many long decisions in possession, and it just caused us problems as the game was developing. It was hard to switch back to what we wanted to get to.
Why do you think the boys, like you said, they started with the way you wanted to look, but what were the moments that sort of made them slow down just a little bit?
Listen, that's a question David will ask individually. It's decision making. It's recognising, where we want to get to, how we're going to get there. Do we need 3-4 passes to get from one side to the other? Can we do it a little bit less touches, a little bit less time, missing players out so we can get to the opposite side quicker? I mean, the way they shaped up, they had the back three with two wing backs, which makes the spaces really, really limited across the lines. So if we're going to try and open up those spaces, we have to move the ball much, much quicker, and we have to try and use the width of the pitch. And at some point, the gaps will open, and it's up to us to go and exploit that as and when that happens. But that didn't happen in the first half, especially as the game was developing. I have to say, Cali Braves, they jumped on that, they seen that. That's you'd expect that to happen. So we have to learn from that. Second half, we just probably looked a little bit too open out of possession, especially when Cali Braves scored so early on. We then start to try and chase the game a little bit, and obviously we get back into it, lose another goal, and then it's the same scenario again. So you end up looking too open out of possession, which makes it much easier for them to find spaces to either play through us or pick up second and third balls. So yeah, there's a few different things in there, but two key things for me are we have to move the ball much quicker, and we have to have a much more compact structure when we don't have the ball to try and make it harder for opposition to play through.
A late minute equaliser from Alex Lowry with a penalty. Despite the performance, is that a positive that you can take away from this afternoon's game?
Listen, when you're behind twice and you come back from both times, then of course there's a bit of positivity in there because you've shown a bit of character, a bit of personality to come back into the game. So yeah, we spoke about that in the dressing room, but we can't ever say that that's the way we've performed today is acceptable, because it's not. But it's happened. I think it's more about saying that we have to do much, much better. We have to be better with the ball, we have to be better defensively, we have to carry a greater threat when we have the ball, which I don't think we did in either half. You look back most of our games, we've been creative in terms of getting towards double figures in terms of chances or opportunities. And I'm not saying you can get that every game, that's not going to be the case, but we certainly have to be carrying a much greater threat, much more patience, but you can still have patience and still carry a speed of play as well, which is something we missed today.
A different starting lineup today as well, one that we're not particularly used to. Does that just show the possibility for rotation that we have in the B team?
Listen, a few different things that put the changes in today. I think the first thing is that we've had a few players this week that have been involved with the first team a little bit more frequently. Yesterday, for example, we had a couple of players, Robbie Fraser and Charlie McCallum, who was involved in quite a high-loaded session with the first team yesterday. So we've got to be sensible in the decisions that we take off the back of that. We can't then go and ask them to go 90 minutes again on having what they've done yesterday, because normally our match day or a match prep type session, our loading would be much lower. So we've got to be sensible, and we did that today. So we knew we couldn't use them for a longer spell within the game. That opens up more opportunities for other players. So I don't think the changes necessarily made the difference in terms of how we played. I think the opening part of the game we were doing well. So it's decisions as the game was developing that impacts that. So that's something that we have to learn from. Alex Lowry and Kane Richie-Horser were also involved with the first team yesterday, but their time or load with the first team was much less than the other two, so we could use them within the game. So, but listen, we're here to try and get players those opportunities. We're delighted those lads got that, and if that opens up more doors for younger players or different players, then great. But we have to try and make sure the team continues to function the way we want it to be. So we have to learn from that as us as staff, and try and learn from and take what we took from today into a session into this week and try and make sure we get better. But the players also have to try and work out what they have to do to impact games without myself, Brian or Graham making decisions for them. That's part of being playing this programme. You have to learn to make decisions yourself without us telling them what to do.